Monster is a pretty interesting film. This was released in 2018. It's directed by Anthony Mandler. It's written by Rada Blank, Colin C. Wiley, and Janice Schaffer, based on the novel by Walter Dean Myers. I've never read the novel. If you've read it and have any thoughts on the adaptation, please feel free to share. And we have a cast including John David Washington, Kelvin Harrison Jr., A$AP Rocky, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and various others. And the narrative is what really drew this to me. It's about a character called Steve, and Steve is played by Kelvin Harrison Jr., and he is accused of murder. He's charged with murder, and it's about the trial and ultimately what's going to happen. It's a very strong story. It was very easy to have an emotional response to everything that was happening. I was really drawn into the story. I really felt like I was on the journey with the characters. And of course, given the heavy nature of the topic, it was certainly quite an emotional experience. It has a really good narrative structure. I really like how the story was told. It gave us a sense of the present day events and then also the events of the crime itself, and gave us a good understanding of what happened to lead us to the present day in the film. I loved the courtroom scenes, which is no surprise. I'm a big fan of courtroom dramas. I love them so much. I'm sure there are some weak links, but generally I adore them. And yeah, the courtroom scenes were just so great to watch. We have some very well written characters. The performances are really good. We have some really good music. And ultimately, I was desperate to find out what the final outcome would be. And of course, I'm not going to say, but I was hooked from pretty much the very beginning. It was really quick to really get into this film. At least that was my experience. And I don't have any complaints. I don't know if I'd read the book, just largely because, with a few exceptions, mostly with classic literature, I don't really read a lot that I've seen. The other way on, yes, I love reading a book and then watching adaptations, but I don't really do it the other way on. But certainly it sounds like a narrative that's very appealing, and if the novel is, or if this is a close adaptation to the novel, it sounds like it would be a really compelling read. So while I don't think I'm going to read the book, if it does sound like it would appeal to you, maybe it's worth reading the book first, if, like me, you don't really tend to do it the other way on. And ultimately, I thought it was a really gripping story, really great experience, and if it sounds like your kind of film, then obviously I'm happy to recommend it. I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to give anything else away about the narrative, but I can sum up by saying it's a strong story, it's well executed. I can't comment on the adaptation, but certainly I enjoyed the narrative and the narrative structure. The courtroom scenes for me were brilliant. We have some strong characters, great performances, good music, visually a satisfying film. Monster is brilliant, and I'm very happy to recommend it.